Good morning. We're going to talk today about how to handle inspections like a pro. This is a way to talk about your inspections, how to deal with them. We're going to start in the contract and kind of talk about the inspection section and then show you some of the inspections and then go through some inspection reports, and then go through and show you the addendum where you ask for repairs and some good ways to do that. So when you go through this, when you start talking about it, remember this is not to freak out. You need to have a good inspection company. Before we jump in it too much, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. Love to have you join the family here on the channel. So the first thing to do, I'm on section 7, as you can see, and I'm skipping down just to talk about here where it says buyer accepts the property as is. This is kind of part of the inspection. So it says right here on 7D, acceptance of the property. So as is means a present condition of the property with any defects without warranty, except for the warranties and titles, of course. Buyer agrees to accept the property as is, or does not preclude the buyer from inspecting the property, from negotiating repairs or treatments, or from terminating this contract during the option period. So a lot of agents are like, what does it mean if I click as is? It means I like the property. I know it's not perfect. I'm going to get it inspected. I like it. So as its current condition, you're like, okay, everything looks good. I like what I see so far. I'm ready to take it. Now, the other section is if you like, I need to use, say I see a broken window. See, I see something that obviously I want to get fixed. You could put that in here under section 7.2. So you're saying, I expect the seller to fix this little thing right here. Now, we don't put subject to inspection, anything like that, because we haven't done an inspection report, okay? Now, 7E and F are the two big ones. We'll talk about G a little bit. 7E, it says, otherwise, unless agreed in writing, neither party is expected to pay for lender required repairs. Talking about lender required repairs. And we'll jump into the actual inspection report. So this could be treatments for wood destroying insects like termites, things like that, carpenter ants, all that. So it says if either party does not, so you don't have to pay for it, right? If nobody agrees, the contract's going to terminate and the earnest money is going to go back to the buyer. If the repairs exceed 5% of the sales price, the buyer can cancel. So I'm going to bring up my calculator. Let's say it's a $300,000 contract. 0.05 is 5%. So if any repairs are cost more than $15,000, the buyer has the right to terminate the contract and get the earnest money back. And like right here, earnest money back. So unless otherwise agreed in writing, this is a completion. The seller is going to complete the repairs before the closing date, not before option period, before the closing date, and get all the permits. They can make sure, of course, not just do it helter-skelter, make sure you have all permits, everything. And these have to be performed by licensed individuals. So it says if there's no license required by law, they're commercially engaged in the providing such treatments. So what they're saying here is if you have an HVAC and your cousin just happens to be handy, that your cousin is not allowed to go fix your HVAC, even though it's cheaper. It has to be licensed and repaired. Now, if it's like a handyman who does that professionally, and you have some things other than HVAC, plumbing, things that a professional has to do, you can have them go in there because they're not licensed, and you can have them do some of the smaller repairs. Okay. And then the seller has to show the buyer documentation, the scope of work, what's fixing, what they did. You can't just say, okay, it's fixed. If the buyer says, I want to see what you're fixing, send me the scope of work, you have to send it to them. And then any warranties have to go to the buyer. And then, like it says, if seller fails to complete these prior to the closing date, buyer may exercise remedies under paragraph 15 or extend the closing date 5 days, finishing it to do that. Now, if we skip down to paragraph 15, probably saying, what does that mean? So right here, if buyer fails to complete it, the buyer is in default, etc. If seller fails to complete, seller will be in default, and they can say, I'm going to force you to sell me the home, or I'm going to receive my earnest money back. So that's protection that way. If they don't do everything they're supposed to, and they don't finish it. Now, if there's any environmental matters popping up, like wetlands, toxic substance, things like that, threatened endangered species, all that kind of stuff. And that could threaten the buyer's intended use of the property. So if you're worried about this, there are different addendums and things like that that you have to worry about. We're not going to get into that stuff because that's very rare and it gets much more technical that way. So we're going to talk about the regular repair. So usually, of course, you get the contract, you go under contract, you have your 10-day option or whatever option you have, and then you're going to get the inspection. Here are two example inspection reports I'm going to show you. The first one, these are just two way past clients. I like to use certain companies. I won't show you the actual address property, but I like to use certain companies that work really well. I'm just going to tell you who this one is. This is Your Time Home Inspection. One of the reasons I like to use this company is because at the end it has a report summary, which I really like. So it shows like the foundation's good. This was an almost new home, so it has all these green, which means everything is good, everyone's happy. Then you have this one here, which turns caution, like, hey, you might want to think about fixing this, but it's nothing big. It's okay. So the simple, like the door, one of the doors latch, we had to fix the door latch. Okay, it's not perfectly square. We adjusted that. Simple things where you have a carpenter come in and just take care of it. Some things like that are easy to fix, easy to do. That's why it's orange instead of green. Green is everything is good. That's simple. Now, another property we did, you can see on this report summary, there was a lot of red. It was an older home. We knew it was going to be like that. They still bought the home, the client, because they loved it. So that's fine. Remember, you don't have to fix it as long as the bank's still going to approve the loan. It's okay. And there was no lender required repairs, and they were okay. And all these little things that you can see were good. And then they had these green, like this stuff looks good. The roof was good. There was, electrical was good. Plumbing was good. Everything looked pretty good. And here are some basic things that they could fix if they want to. Their choice. So once I go through here and I pick what I want to fix, remember, let's say let me jump back up to the red. Let's say I was going to fix, I don't know, let's say we're going to fix the condensation chamber here in the HVAC. So instead of sending the whole report to the other agent, please don't do that. Nobody wants that. Please just take a screenshot or say like, I'm going to hit print, for example, and only print this page. So this is page 47. I would only print page 47 or whatever it's going to be. And it jumped me. See, now the good thing about this one too is once I clicked it, so if I go right here and click on plumbing or HVAC, when I clicked it, it jumps me to that page. And then I can see it. This is the copy you want to send because it shows what the problem is, condensation in this area. So I would go here, I would either take this page and download it or do a screenshot of this area so they can see exactly what I want fixed. Make it easy for the other agent to understand what needs to be fixed. Don't make a big deal and don't send the whole report. Nobody needs that crap. Make sure you do a good job that way. So once I figure out what I want to get fixed, I'm going to go to I'm going to go back here to my, let me reopen this. Sorry, sometimes the forms like to spit on me. Go back to my addendum. So you're going to do this addendum. It's the TREC form 1903. So right here, TREC form 1903. That's your addendum. And you're going to be in section 2. And see right here, you can do it certain ways. If you have, say I wanted in this one here, say I wanted all the red fixed. Say I go down here to the bottom and I wanted all this fixed. There's no way I'm going to be able to fit all this on this one little page here. There's no way in this little, even though it's a bigger section, it's going to go over. So you can do it and it will automatically add another page, or I could say see attached PDF, and that will have listed all the ones I want fixed and why. And I could do that, or I could say, please fix all this, or I would like 1,500 extra in seller concessions. There's different ways you can ask for it, different ways you can get repaired. Don't think you have to only worry about the repairs or only the seller concessions. You can do one of each or both or whichever way you want to go. It just depends what's going to be best for your client. Okay, now they can come back and say, I'm only going to fix 3 of these things and give you 800 seller concessions. Then you're going to be in negotiation tactics. And then again, once they agree to the repairs, you're going to go through and you're going to work them out. One thing to really remember, this was a good house with no red, and it had 37 pages. This was a report with a lot of red, 51 pages. You have to tell your clients, hey, be ready. when you get the inspection report, you're going to have a lot of stuff to worry about. It's going to be like, it looks like your house is going to fall over. That's the job of the inspector, to find everything. So let them know ahead of time not to freak out, that it's okay and everything's going to be all right. And then they're going to be good. And usually that will chill everyone out a little bit so they don't freak out when they get a 50-page report. The other thing, I always call it the big five, look for the safety and health issues. So I like to look for roof, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and foundation. Those are kind of the big five I look for: roof, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and foundation. If it's not one of those big five, usually it's just a honeydew list. I might want to, like the one I showed you here, even though everything was green, this door was annoying. So we fixed that. The walkway, they didn't like that walkway enough. A correct insulation around some of the wires. Some little things that aren't this was fine. It was still in the right panel. It was safe. But right here, you could have replaced some of these barriers. I mean, and little silly things like that that you want to fix, but they're not going to burn the house down. They're not going to do anything. Okay. And then stuff like they didn't have an anti-tip on the dishwasher, something like that. Things that you want to put in there, but these are honeydew lists. Things you can do that. So take advantage of the things that are actually going to, don't take advantage of it, but you get your client protected. The things that are actually going to cause health, your big five, your health, welfare, anything like that, that could cause issues for the home. If it's just a honeydew or a best practice, you can fix that. Focus on the major things first, though. Remember, it's better to ask for a lot up front, and then when they counter back, they can counter. Don't ask for every single thing on the inspection report. People aren't going to do that. You're just going to piss off the seller. Excuse my language. You're going to get them mad. When you get them angry at you, they're not going to want to work with you. And it's going to get more frustrated for everyone on the alongside. So don't get into that. I hope that answers any questions. Please reach out and let me know your most frustrating inspection story that you've had.